stops. So we should...
Spoilers. There's probably going to be spoilers past this.
If you're going to continue watching this video, we're going to talk about the book, okay?
So, in the show, there's still a question about whether or not he's going to be a hero. Whether he's going to do the right thing, because he's working for a con man.
Very obvious con man.
And he's just got out of prison. He's a convict, working for a con man. How is this guy going to end up shaping up to be? And eventually, I wouldn't say he saves the world, but he stops a bad thing from happening.
True.
Because it's not necessarily the battle between the gods isn't necessarily
the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Like one of the sides is gonna win and things will go on. It's not the end of the world, but he stops the bad thing, what we think is the bad thing, from actually happening, and from all of the chaos that could ensue from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that when it comes down to it, he has to be a hero. Mm-hmm. He's not always that good, because he goes along with
the cons.
With Wednesday's cons. He goes along with all the shifty things that...
Works with the morticians a little bit.
That's not necessarily shifty.
Sometimes.
The fact that he's eating parts of people is a little...
And he's okay with it. No, Shadow doesn't eat people.
Yeah.
Shadow's not the one eating people.
No.
He's just the one ignoring that the other guy's eating people.
Well, that seems to make sense.
But, he's also the one that discovered, again, spoilers, where the kids were going in the town that Mr. Wednesday had planted him in. So after being hired by Mr. Wednesday, he plants him in this small town and tells him that, you're basically going to live here until I need you. And
we need to hide you. And so he's being hidden in a small town that is off the radar for reasons.
I think it's in Wisconsin.
I think.
Or is it Michigan? They're in an area that freezes over like Minnesota here, although I don't think it's Minnesota because I don't want Minnesota to be the bad guy.
It freezes over, and they put a car on the lake as a raffle
to see,
thing.
Who can guess the date that it's going to break through the ice when the spring hits.
And he figures out that there's been a string of kids disappearing every single year, and that where the kids have been ending up. Shadow figures it out and tries to do the right thing. It's way too late, but he tries to do the right thing, and he tries to expose the
murder.
Yeah,
murder or the children.
Sacrifice, as they would probably like to more refer to it as, but it's murder.
And then there's also the part where he does the vigil for Wednesday.
Yeah, but that's before he figures out exactly how big of a jerk he is.
No, but he knows how big of a jerk he is when Wednesday dies, and he realizes that this whole vigil thing that he signed up for, and everybody's like, dude, no, he's dead. You don't have to follow through on this. He's like, no, I will. I'm going to keep my word.
Yeah, he said
was being strapped to a tree for 11 days, was it? 9 days. Without food or water, and most people can't make it through, obviously, because food and water, and they die. And so here again, he was self-sacrificing, because he had promised that he was going to do it.
He kept his word, which is a very honorable thing to do.
It's a hero thing.
He said I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. But he also didn't quite know exactly what was going on, why the war was happening. Mm-hmm. It was after that he figured out, oh, this is why the war was happening. I don't know if he would have necessarily gone through with holding that vigil if he knew.
Which is why Wednesday didn't tell him.
Exactly.
Wednesday was manipulating the whole thing. But, that's not a hero profile.
Yeah,
that is
he's
the villain profile.
The villain profile. Maybe I should do a few of those. I'm not sure.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
But yeah, so there were lots of hero aspects to Shadow, even with how weird the book was, and in a good way.
Yeah, it's a great book. But it gets a little surreal in certain places, which I suppose is bound to happen when you're dealing with mythologies and things that go back to the beginning of time.
/ trying to blend into modern society.
Yeah.
And then he has to work with them.
It's a little strange, but it's very, very good. If you haven't already read the book, I'm surprised you're listening to the spoilers right now, but pick it up. And
but there's so many more spoilers than what we're even covering.
Yes, there are, but we want to try to keep it short and to the point.
This is about Shadow, who's still in love with his dead wife that keeps stalking him in zombie form.
That's a weird thing.
And he's honorable to a corpse that keeps stalking him in zombie form.
That was something that I actually thought of, the parallel between this and the first collaboration that we did, because this is another, like, when it comes down to it, story of true love. He was truly in love with this woman, and that's a lot of his motivation for doing a lot of the things that he does, was his love for this particular girl. Find out later that she wasn't quite as enamored with him as he was her.
Faithful.
But that's
another villain story.
Yeah.
Not the hero profile.
And I also thought that there was another little kind of correlation with this and the Princess Bride, in that every now and again it just veers off Shadow's story. Like William Goldman just veered off the telling of the actual story and went and said some other business about lots of things. We kind of, like, on accident, hit on some kind of similar books that we've been collaborating on. It's kind of, I thought that was strange in a way.
It's interesting. It's fun to make correlations between different authors.
You're also a student of mythology. What did you think of all the mythological references that Gaiman put into?
I was really intrigued by his choices of deity that he decided to incorporate into the story. Very few big name characters that you would be familiar with. There's Odin, obviously. Bast shows up, but there are some not so familiar ones too. So it was nice getting to know those mythos as well. I know he did a lot of research for it too.
He did a bunch of research, and I think his last book is actually all about the Norse mythology.
Yep.
Which is on my list of things I need to do now that I'm doing all these book reviews and whatnot.
Yay, book review! But yeah, that's Shadow. I mean, that's him. As much as we can cover.
We don't want to spoil too much,
No.
even if we warn spoilers, but we don't want to spoil too much if you haven't.
We spoiled plot, but there's a lot more intrigue.
There's so much. There's so many different little nooks and crannies and themes, and I could probably talk about it for another 48 hours straight and not cover everything. We're not going to make these videos so long.
It's a buffet of a book. It's not just one meal. It's one that you can have multiple courses on and really dive into. And that's what I enjoy about this story.
Yeah, it's interesting now that I'm watching the show, like, knowing all the things, watching the show is like kind of rereading it again and seeing things that, like, I didn't pick up on that at the time, but now, that's so obvious.
Exactly.
Let's cut it off here, and we're going to say goodbye to you folks. If you want to check out Crystal's channel, Digital and Vellum, We're going to have links in the description, and she's got a video coming out, Battle of the Media, that we just finished up.
Yep, it's a book versus the television series. Now, like I said, only one episode's come out, so it's
We're probably going to
comparing
have to.
that.
We're probably going to have to come back and revisit that once.
Probably after the entire series is done. But it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun because the show's great so far.
It's amazing.
It's so good. So good.
But it was wonderful to be on your channel again.
It was wonderful to be on your channel again.
Yeah. Like our video, comment, subscribe. Follow us on the digital medias. Stick with me, Rebels. We can do this.
Do that. Definitely do that.
Please remember to share this video, click like, and comment, because all that stuff really helps me out. And if you're not sure what to comment, just answer the question of the day. It's right over there. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and get notified, because that is the way you will not miss anything I put out. And don't forget, there's always links in the description to either other videos, things I talked about, or things that you just might find interesting.